Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, this is Shivam, founder and CEO of AlmaBetter. I welcome you all to today's Ask Me Anything session. So, this is an integral part of our Learn, Earn, Return data science program offered to our selected students. So, this session is being attended by hundreds of participants who have joined us from live streaming websites as well as our own portal. So, every week we organize this session with a guest where we invite an experienced person from the industry to enlighten us about the industry and the career prospects it holds for beginners in data science, right? So these sessions are very insightful for students who want to build a career in the field of data science and are just starting up. And so without further ado, let's just begin the session by welcoming our guest, Akshay Verma. So Akshay is currently working as a data scientist at Amazon. Prior to this, he was working at American Express and Inductis. So he's also an alumnus of Delhi School of Economics. So, hi Akshay, it's a pleasure to have you here today. So thank you for taking the time out for this session. So, uh, can you start by telling us a bit about your professional journey till now? How has it panned out so far?
Yeah. So hi everyone. First of all, thanks for having me here. Uh, so just to kickstart, I am a grad and I have done my graduation from Kirodimal College and then my master's in economics from Delhi School of Economics. So both my graduation and post graduation in economics. I passed out in 2015.
Mhm.
Post that I have been working firstly with Inductis. So for approximately 1 year, I was with Inductis, uh, also called as EXL Analytics. There, I was majorly a part of the consulting group, working on risk analytics, basically projects. Post that, I after 1 year, I joined American Express as an analyst. Most of my experience have been with American Express only. Approximately 4 years with American Express, where I have led a journey from business analyst to a manager in data science. And from the past 9 months, I am working with Amazon as a data scientist. And this is pretty much it about my educational and bit of an experience in the working data science industry.
That's great. So, I think it has panned out well, very well so far, right? And particularly people have a misconception that you cannot uh, jump into data science from a non-IT background, but that is not the case. We know all know it, right? So you have a background in economics, and yet you are doing fairly well in this field, right? So can you tell us a bit about your experience in Amazon and the problems that you're currently solving as a data scientist?
Yeah, so most of the problems, like for 1 year, I have worked in risk analytics domain. So that was my first hands-on experience with coding. Just for the audience, I never did coding in my graduation and post-graduation. So it was all that started down in corporate only. I was given on-the-job training and all
Mhm.
to kickstart the journey. And for 1 year, I was solving risk analytics problems. Post that in American Express, where I have had the majority of my experience, my task was to look up to basically recommendation engine. So pretty much that you see Netflix, what it pops you up today on your screen, and what's someone else's screen. There's an algo working behind it. So similarly, whenever you log into American Express's page, the offers that you see is basically powered by that engine. So like for 2 years, we built it from the scratch. So there was no recommendation engine. So we built it up from there. After that, I was leading the feature engineering team. So a lot of image processing and a lot of things have gone into image processing. So I was leading that in American Express. In Amazon, specifically, I work in the abuse prevention domain.
Okay.
So there are multiple kind of abuse that happens on Amazon. There are people who abuse the system. So our task is to build ML solutions, basically to prevent those kind of abuses which happen on our platform majorly. So
Okay.
this is in summary of what I have done so far as an experience in a data scientist.
That's great. You are working on some cool projects, I must say. So many of our students have little to no work experience, right? So we at AlmaBetter focus heavily on training our students on how to work in teams, right? So that's to simulate a real work kind of an environment, right? So we organize capstone projects where students collaborate with each other in teams and then try to learn from each other to
Mhm.
produce the best output, right? So uh, can you tell us how teams operate in companies, right? So what is the like how important is team collaboration in the corporate world?
Hmm. So I think it's very critical for if you take up a job as a data scientist, because I think we bridge the gap someone between business and I would say engineers specifically.
Mhm.
So engineers are the people who don't know the algos. Okay, you ask them to code, they will code it for you, whatever you ask them to code. Versus business is the one which comes up with the problem and does not know the solution. You
Mhm.
guys exist because you guys need to develop a solution to the problem.
Mhm.
So I think collaboration plays a very critical role. So we guys have act as a building blocks between these two poles which stand there and kind of deliver it effectively. So
Right.
at the end of the day, business owns the project, and at the end of the day, engineer own their code, but the person who is basically giving a solution to the problem
Mhm.
is the basically the data scientist who basically churns out the data, develops a solution on a very small data set. But when you bring it down to production, it's the scientist, so basically the engineer's job. So collaboration is the key here. You really need to understand that the business team doesn't get a lot of algos in their mind. What they need is a simple solution, versus engineers, they don't understand algo. They can write complex codes, but they don't know how is it serving their purpose.
Mhm.
So you really need to collaborate well, express your thoughts well when it comes to be basically being an expert in this field.
Correct, correct. That was very insightful. I guess, yeah, it makes much more sense for a role of a data scientist, right? Wherein you are sitting between two major functions in the company. So uh, let's talk a bit about the industry, right? So since the past decade, careers in data science have witnessed a progressional drift, right? So what are some of the factors that have led to this huge rise in data science jobs that are there today?
So I think I belong to, I think most of us belong to that generation where we have seen Nokia 6600 prospering, and today we work on an iPhone. And I
Mhm.
think the transformation that you see from there to there is the answer to your question pretty much. You can do today anything on your cell phone, okay? And that's what tells you that that's what has given rise to this. Now you can do anything on your cell phone, which means that people are getting your minutes data, okay? Earlier you used to go to a restaurant, just take an example, and no one knows that you have gone to a restaurant. Today Google knows that you have gone to a restaurant, Zomato knows that you have gone to a restaurant. And that's how the system has evolved. So the I would say the digitization that has happened over the years has really led to basically blooming of this industry. And
Mhm.
this is very important because going ahead, I still feel that it's not up to its full potential. It has a lot in its basically future down the road, because I still feel that once you call data science in, once you go to, say for an example, when I talk about India, there are no formal courses today as of today which exist for data science. So this field is very much open today, and I think we are in that process where we are going, and I still feel it's going to take us 10 more years down the line to be there where we have said that we have saturated this field.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Long journey ahead, I would say. A lot of things, new things coming
Yeah.
every day. So let's talk a bit about the interview processes at companies such as Amazon. So uh, can you give us some tips for our upcoming data scientists, right? So on how to crack interviews at companies like Amazon. What are they looking for specifically?
So I'll say when you talk about any interview, that's what I have always worked in this field, because I have been from the non-IT background, and
Mhm.
the desire to stick with my basics. So I would say today anyone can code. Trust me, coding is no challenge today. Okay, the challenge is basically to understand what is happening inside, because a lot of times things go haywire. Okay, and that's the point where you really need to learn a lot. Okay, so just stick to your basics, guys. Just stick to your basics. You should know even a simple derivation of an OLS working. If you understand logistic working properly, trust me, a lot more algos will be simpler for you, because they are just like the building blocks. The first they were developed and then they were developed over it. Now, if you miss the building block and you think that we can do very well with neural networks and boosting,
Mhm.
you might be able to do it. I'm not denying it, but the journey will be much more difficult. So I would say whenever I talk about any interview, specifically at Amazon, what really helped me was my sticking down to the basics. And second, I
Mhm.
would still say just listen out. Okay, I don't mind even listening to any one of you right now, because this is an ever evolving field. I cannot be up to date. Okay, this is not something which is saturated right now, that I have gained all the knowledge. Okay, this is come every anything new is coming any day. Okay, and you should be basically willing to listen. Okay, because the people who sit in an interview might know much more than you. And sometimes what I've seen people is just getting locking their horns. They might see that they are proving their point. Up to a point, yes, it's good that you stand by yourself,
Mhm.
but it's an ever evolving field. You should accept for the fact, because this is in my personal experience I have seen,
Mhm.
uh, you should basically accept the fact that okay, this person might know better than me, even if he's not that tenured. So you have to accept that. Hmm.
Correct, correct.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the learning attitude that the
Hmm.
interviewer also sees, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
how well, if you have learned the basics well, you can learn any of the
Yeah.
concepts that are coming up, right? So,
Hmm.
yeah, that's pretty correct, right? So I think let's move on to some soft skills like networking. So can you tell us a bit about the importance of networking in the industry? In what ways does networking help people to build their space in the industry?
Yeah. So networking in any field, I would say, specifically to data science, I think networking is the key here. Okay. Networking, trust me, you just need an opportunity. Okay, no one can fix an interview, or networking doesn't get you through the interviews. It just gives you an opportunity, and if you have it in you, you will basically crack the interview. Okay, it's not one person who's interviewing. There are multiple people from multiple backgrounds. Amazon has 7 rounds of interviews. I had given 7 rounds of interviews, and trust
Mhm.
me, there were people from across the board which were interviewing me. Okay, so there is, you just need the opportunity. And how do you get the opportunity? It's networking that gets you the opportunity. Okay, so that stands the key. Your, if I know someone, so say for example, I have left from Amex and I had a team there. Okay, and right now I'm an IC. Okay, so what happened is, say if someone comes up to me and say that please refer me to Amazon, I have a basically I know that person. Okay, and I know that he has that zeal to learn. Now if he wouldn't have connected with me in Amex, I couldn't have had that thing for him. And if I would just refer him in the system. Okay, I would refer any other candidate, but my, the chances of the other person getting through is much more higher, because I kind of have an idea that yes, he can crack it. And that's why a lot of people reach out to me that please refer my CV. I go and refer their CVs. I don't mind referring anyone's CV. Okay, but the point is that you need to have that in you.
Yes.
Networking is one part, plus sticking to your basics is another part. So I can just get you through first round of interview, but it's your learning which will get you through the next round of interview. So networking plays a key role there when person stands up for you.
Yep, totally relate and understand your point, and that's why probably no, we thought that we'll devise a system wherein we can connect a student to a lot more persons during their journey, during their training journey here itself, right? So, people interact with around 30 mentors during their journey itself, and these mentors, come with a lot of experience. Some have experience of 15 plus years, right? So,
Hmm.
in that half an hour session that you have with your mentor, right? You get all of the good points, all of the learnings that they have accumulated over that time,
Hmm.
and kind of you also get a bit of confidence that yeah, I have interacted with this person, I know what is going on in the industry, and the person also has in mind that someone is growing in this field. If he is aware of some opportunities, he can definitely refer our students, right? So this type of an ecosystem helps both ways, right? So for
Yep.
mentors.
And just to add one more point, I think that's good for, because you just mentioned that most of the people are haven't had any experience. So you guys will be going into the entering data science positions, okay? And for that, trust me, we don't expect you to know anything. Okay, we just want to see how much have you pulled up yourself. So your CV is just an indication. I just have an hour with you when I go for the interview. Okay, I just see that zeal. Okay, I don't see anything else. That's my personal choice. People look up to multiple things, but I feel whenever it's an entry level position, not in Amazon, but I have interviewed multiple times in American Express. Okay, and we used to hire at a very basic position over there, the business analyst position, and I have just seen the zeal, because this person, even if he's from a non-IT background, he's from non-IT, he knows a basic, okay, and he knows the concept of say correlation, and he excelled in it. I just want to see that this person wants to learn. I just don't want this person to be learned, because I can make him learn any day on the job.
Correct, correct.
So
His
yeah. Hmm.
ability to learn and whether he has shown that capability in the past, right?
Yeah.
That's all. So yeah, let's shift to training, right? So we're talking about learning, right? So there is a huge gap right now in the demand and supply of good data scientists in India, right?
Hmm.
There are a lot of edtech ventures stepping up, providing certifications, learnings, courses, programs, right? So some of them also charge a lot of money upfront, right? So
Mhm.
what do you think of skill schools like us who are trying to provide risk-free education, which is job-oriented, and we are guaranteeing placements, so people don't have that risk of failing here, right? So if you get it here, you are sure sort you'll be getting placed at the end of the journey. So how do you think, what do you think about these type of skill schools who are working towards bringing transparency to the whole system?
So I think it's pretty good because, like I say, I have known a lot of people who have spent a lot of money doing courses, getting certification and stuff. And to be honest, there is no formal training college as of today, except a few one which I don't want to, like, say, for example, which I'm not sure about exactly what training they are giving.
Mhm.
Okay, but the crucial part is, guys, you really have to realize. First of all, I really like the fact. I really feel that you have addressed a very good need from that perspective, that you guys are not charging upfront. Okay,
Right.
that kind of gives the candidate also an assurance. Trust me, I would, in your, if in any one of the candidates position, I would be very happy to pay you if I'm placed. Okay, and that's the key here. Okay, because the point is, when a person is happy, he likes to spend. Okay, and because he has gotten something out of this
Yes.
thing. But a lot of certification, I've seen people spending like thousands and even going up to lakhs just to learn some basic data science concepts, and then they say that we are not ending up anywhere, because the fact is, we are in that race where everyone is telling us, just do the certifications, get this, and you will get it done. No, it doesn't happen that way. Okay, certifications are good if it's about basics. Okay, we don't expect you to have run a deep CNN and you will come up to me and tell me that I've done a deep CNN. Even I don't do it at Amazon today. Okay, so you really need to realize that it's the basics that will get you through, not the any other thing. So I think I really like the fact of transparency which is in here, and I really feel that anyone who is getting placed from your basically company at the end of the day will be happy for paying you, and
Correct.
that's what matters at the end of the day. When you need to be customer obsessed, you need to think about the customer.
Right. Right.
That's
And
the
it's
nature of
kind
the
of ironical to charge upfront because people are upskilling to get a job because they don't have money. They want to upskill themselves, right? So they
Yep.
want to get a job, only then they will be able to pay, right?
Yep.
It's very ironical to charge upfront for upskilling programs, right?
Yes.
Wherein you are creating income for students. Okay, so just a few last questions, right? So I know you have a very busy schedule at Amazon, right? So will you be interested in mentoring some of our students in their journey to start their career in the data science domain?
I would say, just let's connect on LinkedIn over
Okay.
that. Okay, let's just see where do you stand today. Okay, what amount of input is needed from me. Definitely, I'm there. If you guys need any kind of input, that what things I should be doing to get my basics strong, what things I should be uh, aiming at in my career to just kickstart the journey. Definitely, I can provide you, but exact things, it's difficult to give a time commitment, but definitely I will be more than happy to connect on LinkedIn. And trust me, I'm very responsive. I know a lot of my colleagues are not responsive. I respond because I still feel that I don't want people to go haywire on this particular field and just do some things which they end up regretting at the later point. So I'm very responsive. So yeah, definitely no formal, but informal, definitely.
Sure, sure, Akshay. That's very helpful, right? So, students, please, if you have any questions, queries, you want some help from the, you want to get some industry perspective, you definitely should reach out to Akshay. So, we have got a few questions as well.
Mhm.
Uh, I think this IT non-IT question is now clear because Akshay is a proof that does not matter, right? So your background does not matter as long as you are focusing on the basics and getting those right. You will definitely be able to jumpstart a career in the field of data science. Apart from that, guys, I see a lot of generic questions coming up. So, very basic level questions. I don't think these are related to Amazon or something. So, I would request you guys to attend the career workshop tomorrow. So, tomorrow we have a career workshop from 11 a.m. So, guys, please attend it, and all of your basic questions, right, will be cleared. Okay, we'll take one question from the audience. So as you said, it's a ever evolving process. How can we make the process of learning fast? since we have a lot of things to cover and each topic looks like quicksand, pushing us deep into it, how to decide some stopping point.
Mm. So, to that point, I think how do I keep myself up to date with recent things happening in the industry? I subscribe to blogs.
Mhm,
Okay, and it's Medium towards data science,
mhm,
analytics with there. Trust me, these are the blogs which give you an information. Now, these blogs give you an information at a very brief level. They
mhm,
don't deep dive into the mathematics of anything. It's on you. So I like to particularly so I would say that my area of expertise is neural networks. I do boosting also, but if you ask me even the mathematics of neural networks, I can tell you right away. So whatever topics interest you, just go deep into it, and every topic would be related, so you'll be able to catch up quickly. And I think definitely subscribe to blogs to keep you up to date.
right.
These are the things which will really help you in long run.
Yeah, so we'll take one more question. I hope the last question was answered. So, do you think data science is overhyped?
Yes and no both. I would say because the point is, see, that's what I say. If you want to hire marketing or sales guy, you go and hire an MBA. You want to hire an economist, go to an economic school and hire an economist. Okay, for data science, there does not exist any school.
Mm,
Okay, and
right.
that's what kind of create that void. Now everyone thinks that he can be a data scientist. Okay,
Mhm,
which really makes everyone having that mad rush that okay, let's go for a data scientist. Big data is coming up. We should learn those skills and stuff. So that way, yes, it's hyped. Okay, but if you basically know your basics well and you basically don't need to be very fancy at here, okay,
mhm,
it's not that hype the field. You
mhm.
enter into it and you work onto it. Trust me, 6 months down the job you will be saying it's a good enough field for me to be like in. It's not that complicated, it's simple, and I know how things work, I can debug. So yes and no both, it depends on how you approach it.
Right, right. So I think we are already running out of time, right? So, any last words of wisdom for our students?
No, I think you all guys are smart. Just few things to say. I have repeated multiple times. Stick to your basic. Second, I would say just don't look out for a job. Look for a career. Okay, starting with a very less salary, that's fine.
Mhm,
Okay, as long as you are in the industry and you're learning, don't aim for big shots at a go away.
correct.
As an example, I can tell you, I know companies which do not hire data scientists at a if you basically haven't had good enough experience, okay, and you really need to build up that experience.
Mhm,
And without that, if you think that okay, this is going to give me a lot of money, I'm going to go for big shots like Amazon, Google, they don't happen overnight. Okay, they will require some grilling, some things from you.
correct.
Start, build a career. Don't look out for a job, because if you build a career, you will be at the end of the day, in long run, you will be in a good place.
Right, right. And that is what, we also guarantee around 6 LP, right? So of course our students end up with packages somewhere around 8 to 9, but for freshers, right? So but we guarantee a minimum of 6 LP because we know this fact, right? So you are very correct in saying that we need to start somewhere, right? And we all know why you are saying this, right? Because the salaries go exponentially up once
Yeah.
you have a bit of experience, right? So the first salary might not look that fancy, but it will go exponentially up.
Mm.
And this growth you cannot see in any other field as of now, right? So this type of growth. So it's the first. You have to make the entry point smooth, right? So you have to make that entry somehow, and then it will be a good journey ahead, right? So
Perfect.
yeah, right. So I think I totally relate to this point, and this is what we have been also telling our students,
Mm.
right? So you have to start, and then you see after 2 to 3 years where you reach, right? So
Trust me, guys, I did not start with a very handsome salary. Okay, and after 5 to 6 years down the line, I think I'm doing good. So
right,
I would say just kick start this journey,
right.
and you will be doing good at the end.
Yes. So that's all the questions I had, right? And thank you so much for joining us today. It was pleasure having you here, and your answers were really enlightening. And I hope students have gotten insight of how things work in the industry. Again, it's lovely to have you here today. We hope to host you again soon, and hopefully our students will connect with you offline to if they need some help.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for having me here. And I think, yeah, I look forward to speak you again. Speak to you soon.
Thank you, Akshay.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
That was Akshay, everyone. So we'll be ending this session now. So for our students, we'll have a class from